Morning. This morning we are going to look at solving two-step equations. This is a review. So the first step is to undo our addition and subtraction. Our second step would be to undo multiplication and division. And there's an exception when there are parentheses. We do what's farthest away from our variable first. So if we were to start with the equation 3x plus 5 equals 23, the first step we tend to always take is to just make a quick line, reminding ourselves to be equal on both sides. Now, first, I'm going to undo the addition. So instead of adding 5, I'm going to subtract 5. And this is the subtraction property of equality. I'll go ahead and make a note of that onto the side. If this was an inequality, it would be a subtraction property of inequalities. Okay, these 5's eliminate each other. So 3 times x equals 18. This is our new equation. We've simplified. The next step we would take is to divide both sides by 3. This is a division property of equality. Okay, these properties of equality, always helps if I spell it correctly, are the rules that guarantee something is equal. Okay, they are the reasons they do it. This is the beginning of a formal proof. Attorneys use formal proofs regularly. So 3 on the top divided by 3 on the bottom leaves me with simply x. 18 divided by 3, so we've got x equals 5. Give you a few seconds to write that down. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next problem. Go ahead and stop if you need to write something down. I've now got x divided by 6 minus 4 equals negative 11. So we've got some integers going on in here. So my first step is going to be to add 4. I keep saying 5. Add 4 to both sides. Okay, and that is the addition property of equality. So remind myself to be equal on both sides. This line always goes directly through our inequality or our equality. In this case, we've got an equal sign. And we do the same thing on both sides. We don't put the line through an operation. So I'm going to be adding 4. Now I'm going to have x divided by 6. This looks like a fraction bar, but it's also a division symbol. Equals negative 11, positive 4. 11 negatives added to 4 positives are going to give me a negative 7. My next step is I am going to multiply both sides by 6. Okay, this is our multiplication property of equality. Go ahead and write that one out. So I'm going to multiply by 6 on this side and on this side. Many of you are more comfortable if it looks like a fraction. 6 on the bottom, 6 on the top. They cancel each other, they divide out. 1 on the bottom is what every whole number's got, so I'm left with x. Negative times positive is negative. 6 times 7 is 42. X equals negative 42. Okay, when we have parentheses now, we've got 2 different ways this can be solved, and I'm going to show them both ways. I'll just write it down over here. We won't be talking about the properties of equality as much. Okay, so my first step would be to take a look at this and say, well, this 4 is outside the parentheses, so this is 4 times everything inside. I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. The 4 up divided by the 4 down eliminates it, and I am simply left with what's inside my parentheses. 36 divided by 4 is 9. I'm going to add 8 to both sides because the 8 was subtracted, and that leaves me with x equals 17. That is the way to do it by getting rid of the work outside the parenthesis. The other one would be to distribute what is inside the parenthesis. So I would look at this and I would say that this is 4 times x. That's good. Do this. 4 times x minus 4 times 8. So I multiply the number outside by everything inside the parenthesis. So this would simplify to 4 times x minus 32 equals 36. Excuse me. And again, taking a look, I've subtracted 32 on this, so I'm going to add 32 to both sides. This would leave me with 4 times x equals 68. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 makes 1, so I'm left with x equals, and over here in the margin, 68 divided by 4, it goes in 1 time, 1 times 4. 28 divided by 4 is 7. X equals 17. So you see in this equation, we have one extra step of distributing the 4 before we add and divide. It gets to the same result. We have the same problem where we divided first and then added. It doesn't matter which direction you solve it. Thank you very much.